rule the world, man, and what their ultimate agenda is. How they want to depopulate the earth, how they want to kill off people, how they want to instigate World War III, all right, by using the so-called differences that you have between the Muslims out there within the Middle East, and set of so-called chain events leading on to World War III. Okay, and that's all being revealed by these so-called truthers, and that's why you have a thing of the scripture saying how the things of Esau searched out. Okay, his hidden things are being revealed to everybody right now. Okay, so let's go back into the scripture right now. It says there's a 6th verse. It says, how are the things that Esau searched out? Okay, and his hidden things sought out. Okay, now it goes on to say, well, I was quoting earlier, all the men of his confederacy all the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and they have prevailed against thee. Okay, so you had a whole bunch of Middle Eastern countries out there, okay, that were at peace with America. There was a so-called peace with America by way of these so-called OPEC deals that they had, okay, which was the declaration of selling oil within dollars. Now it's beneficial, mutually beneficial for the most. But see, what you find out is when you go to a corporation like a Shell coming up into your country, they're making a hella type of money out of the oil they're taking out of Saudi Arabia or whatever country that they deal with. Okay, you find out these corporations are making hella money. So you're finding out you're really getting a bad deal, or you can get a better deal elsewhere. Okay, that's why they shift towards the east now, is having a lot of these different countries saying, okay, look, we don't have to be sustained by the American way of doing things. We can go another way. And the same thing goes for any commodity that's on the scene. Okay, the same thing goes for any that goes for anything that can be sold and bought, and people can benefit off of that. Even people, because people are a resource. That's why you have a thing called human resource. Okay, but that's the one thing that they really want to control. And that's why you have a thing called a so-called RFID chip coming up into that place, coming up within the earth, man. Okay, so 6th verse says, all the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee, and they have prevailed against thee. They that eat that bread have led the wound underneath thee. There is none understanding in them. Okay, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, right, and understanding out of Teman. Okay, it says, and thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau shall be cut off by slaughter. Because when World War III pops off, man, okay, it ain't gonna be a thing of just, oh, we know what we're doing and this is what's no. The scripture talks within the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, that pangs and sorrows is gonna take hold of them, man. Okay, so fear is gonna be greatly within the earth. Matter of fact, if I go to the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter, it goes into that. Because this is the time of Jacob's trouble that the scripture talks about. Okay? When you're gonna have World War III popping up all over the place, okay? Nuclear missiles being blown up all over the place, okay? A lack of food within the stores, okay? Okay, no running water, okay, no sanitation. This is gonna be a time of great trouble. Okay, so all the male team that are out there with the AK-47 shooting down, when this really takes place, their strength within them is gonna leave them, man. Okay, there ain't gonna be no mighty men of Esau in that day, like Captain America, that's gonna save the day from when Yahushua intervenes and destroys Esau out of power. There ain't gonna be no intervention from Tony Stark to save him, man. It's gonna be just you and your judgment, and your judgment was gonna be to be removed from the earth, man. Okay, to be completely wiped off of the face of the earth. That was gonna be your judgment. That is your judgment. Okay, so Jeremiah 30:7, it says, alas, for that day is great. And what day are we talking about? We're talking about the day of the Lord's return, man. Okay, we can read about that within the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, a little bit later on. We're talking about the day of the Lord's return. It's going to be a great day. Even as you go to where within the Christian church, they have you believe that, oh, it's going to be just a great day and the Lord's going to bring peace. Yeah, but peace means that the thing that is instigating, what am I trying to say here? When you have it to where peace is being established upon the earth, that means the people that are removing peace from the earth have to be removed. Okay? When you have it to where you're saying peace, that means there's going to be a lack of war. Okay? If you're saying the Lord's going to come back and bring peace, then you're actually saying that the Lord's going to come back and remove Esau. And that's exactly what the Lord's going to do. Because the need for the serpent, okay, the man of war, which is Esau, when you have it to where you have the movie like The Lord of War, That wasn't no so-called Negro, Hispanic, or Native American. It wasn't no Moabite. It wasn't no Ammonite. It was an Edomite, or a dude portraying an Edomite, which I think is a Edomite. That guy, was it Jack Nicholson? Okay, that did Lord of War, the movie. Okay, I believe he's an Edomite, but in that movie, he was portraying who? He was portraying the Edomite, man. He was portraying the Edomite. Because this is the man that brings war upon the earth. Matter of fact, when these Edomites came on the scene, you had it to where just peace was removed from the earth. In fact, if you go to the book of Revelations, might be the 9th verse. Okay. Is it the 9th verse? Okay, if I can't find it, I'll quote it. Okay, but pretty much when you find out within the scriptures, okay, you had a thing called a red horse, okay? And the man that sitteth upon a red horse, power was given unto him to take peace from the earth. And that's what this person is, that's precisely what Esau has done. He has taken peace away from the earth, okay? He's got it to where wars popping up all over the place because he sends out there what's known as mercenaries, which you know as ISIS. ISIS is nothing but mercenaries to who? To the agenda of the elite banking families, man. And they go out there and they just remove peace upon the earth and just wars all over the place. So we're reading about the last, that day is great. We're talking about the day when the man of sin, the man of war, the Lord of war is removed from the earth, man. That's what we're talking about. So the Lord is going to come back and take peace from the earth, but not in the way that they have you believe in these so-called churches, man. He's going to come and take peace from the earth the way it's described within the book of 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter. Okay, when World War III is taking place and the Lord's on the scene and he's going to intervene within that so-called World War III and just remove all of those so-called powers from the earth, man. Okay, whether it be the American government, the British government, the Japanese government, the Chinese government, all of them so-called major World War III players, their so-called rulership is going to be removed from the earth. That's why when you read the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, it says, in the days of these kings, what kings? The kings that's going to be warring against each other in World War III, man. That's the days of the kings that it's talking about. But they might not call themselves kings. They might call themselves presidents. They might call themselves what do you call it? Prime ministers. But these are the kings of the earth right now, because through them, but really through the banking elite, okay, who pull the strings of those so-called kings. That's why you have decisions being made upon the earth. In other words, World War III is going to play out over here. Okay, it's going to pop up in this manner and in this fashion. But the Most High said, as it's playing out, He's going to send His Son to return, and He is going to remove, He is going to place peace upon the earth, but it's going to be peace for the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay? He's going to be peace for the 12 tribes of Israel, because the man of wickedness, the man of war is going to be removed out of the earth, man. The Lord of war is going to be removed out of the earth. Okay? So, back within the book of, this is the book of Jeremiah 30:7, it says, alas, that day is great, so none is like it, is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, so this time of so-called Armageddon is going to be a time of Jacob's trouble, man. Okay, especially because when you look at the impoverishment of the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, you think about how those people's lives is a very intricate balance. Okay, you know, and when you have a so-called crisis situation hit up, it's going to be a time of trouble, man. And also what is important to remember, you know, we're talking about the so-called depopulation of the earth. What's important to remember about the so-called depopulation of the earth is the agenda of the depopulation of the earth. That all goes back onto the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter, and how they want to remove the name of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel from the earth. Okay, that's the main end-all be-all. Okay, because in removing the 12 tribes of Israel, they can further their agenda, man. They can continue. They will continue forever and ever. Okay, because this whole thing about the Lord's return and how what the Lord's going to do when He comes back, that is all to do with the 12 tribes of Israel. The Scripture says how the Messiah likened Israel unto His fervent lover. That's how the Messiah sees that nation. That's His fervent lover. Okay, that's Zechariah 2:8. That's the apple. That's the apple of His eye, man. Okay, that's His principal focus within the earth. So when you go to where World War III is taking place and mass depopulation is taking place, well, those agendas, okay, those feasts are directed more so towards the 12 tribes of Israel than anything else. Okay, We are the thorn within Esau's heel. Matter of fact, we go to the book of Genesis, the 3rd chapter. It says the Most High was going to put enmity between the seed, okay, the children of the serpent, and the children of the woman. The children of the woman being who? The Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, and all of Israel scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. And thou shalt bruise the head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So we're bruising the heel of Esau and his power and just merely existing because what? Because as long as the 12 tribes of Israel exist, the Most High was going to send his son is going to have it to where his son returns, and he was going to raise those people up, okay, and they was going to rule. So that was what's always going to happen with the 12 tribes of Israel existing within the earth, okay. So now we have a situation where all of the feats that are happening within the earth, whether it be music and the adultery that they speak about within the music, that adultery goes back onto who? That goes back onto our Lord, man. Okay? When you read the scriptures, it talks about how a man ain't supposed to sleep with another man's woman. Okay? But when you listen to the music our people push, which is backed by the so-called Jews, what does it push? It pushes what's known as adultery. Okay? When you listen to the music that's being pushed within our community, Negro, Hispanic, Native American community, it's pushing nothing but covetousness. Because you can send out there, what happened out there within Black Wall Street, and they dropped a bomb out there because they so-called touched a white woman or something like that. Okay, you could do that, but see, you can't really do that in these. You could do that back then, but you can't really do that in these times because why? Because you have a thing of these different nations now. They're watching every move that Esau does. Okay, they're watching every move that Esau does, and that's why you have this thing of the so-called transatlantic slave trade. They're trying to remove that from the books now because that's really like a bad stain within the history of America. So they can't just move, overtly like how they used to move overtly like that. They're gonna do more discreet things, like put wickedness within the music that we watch or entertainment that we listen to, so that the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans go off and not follow the judgments of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and hence Yahweh Hashem Yahushai destroyed them. But see, that wasn't working. So now they're going to have to go back to just overtly trying to destroy the 12 tribes of Israel, but now they're going to do it by way under the banner of what? World War III. They're going to do it underneath the banner of what? Famine, pestilences. Because as all of these famines and pestilences in the time of Jacob's trouble was taking place, these elite banking families ain't going to be a part of it. Okay, even matter of fact, when you go to the book of Amos, the 3rd chapter, I believe it's in the 3rd chapter, it talks about how these elites was going to be taken out of the cracks and the craves, which is talking about their so-called nuclear bunkers, man. Okay? So let me see if I can quickly get it. I believe it's in Amos. Okay? It says pretty much how they dig down into the pit. But that's where the Lord was going to bring them out of that pit, because that's what's going to be happening as the time of Jacob's trouble is taking place upon the earth. Okay, they're going to be trying to be, because they're the ones that think that they put it all together. They're going to be out there somewhere, okay, in a hole in the ground somewhere, okay, in a nuclear bunker somewhere, chilling. But they got pestilences upon the earth to try to remove the 12 tribes of Israel, okay, who are against the agenda they're trying to set up, which is the so-called New World Order. The so-called New World Order, whenever you see a so-called New World Order movie, like this one with Christian Bale, Equilibrium, okay, or Elysium, this was like a paradise for Esau. You didn't see no Negro, Hispanic, Native Americans within those movies, man. It didn't exist. Those times didn't exist. And that's what the whole agenda is all about. Getting rid of these Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, man. But see, that's the thing of pride, because as long as the stars are in heavens, as long as the wind blows, okay, as long as the sun shines, you ain't gonna be able to get rid of the anointing of the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, man. Okay, so let's go into the scriptures now. Back within the scriptures, within the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter and the 7th verse, it says, "Alas, for that day is great, for none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So the end all be all of it is that the 12 tribes of Israel still gonna make it out of that situation, man. He was gonna be saved out of that position of the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay, he was gonna be saved out of the so-called inception of the so-called New World Order, man. He was gonna be all right. Matter of fact, when you go into the scriptures in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter on the 44th verse, it's talking about the saints of the Most High, taking the kingdom, man. So not only are we're going to be doing all right in this time of Jacob's trouble, okay, you know, you're going to have famines and pestilences, but really after that, the Lord was going to raise us up. He was going to make us a new threshing instrument having teeth, and we was going to devour these nations, man. So as the Lord's taking vengeance upon this place, we're going to be taking vengeance too, man, because we're joint heirs unto him, man. Okay, he's likened unto our big brother, not to play it down, okay, but when a big brother comes and he's taking vengeance, hey, the little brother's going to be getting in work too, man, okay? You gotta roll. Hey, they showed you that in this movie, Lawless, with what's this guy's name? Tom Hardy. Okay, when Tom Hardy went out there to take vengeance, all them brothers got down, man. And that's the same thing. The Lord's liking them to, you know, Tom Hardy coming with the brass knuckles, and you beating them adversaries into powder. And the scriptures talk about the same thing as it pertains to the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay, so back within the book of Obadiah, and this is now the 9th verse. It says, and the mighty men of Teman shall be dismayed. So you're going to be dismayed when you got the time of Jacob's trouble coming out all over the place out here. Everybody's tough right now. But when war breaks loose, ain't nobody going to be tough like that anymore, man. We're going to be dealing with reality then. Okay, and that goes for the men of the Lord too, or people that they say that the men of the Lord are, they're so-called within this truth. If your foundations ain't sure and you go to where wars popping up all over the place, you're going to be dismayed, man. Okay? That's why it was also known as a time of temptation, the hour of temptation, because as a solution to all of these problems that's going to come upon the earth, pestilence, famine, okay, war, okay, the solution is going to be the chip, and you're going to be asked whether you're going to take that chip or you ain't going to take that chip. That's why it's known as the time of the hour of temptation too. So if you're in this, if you're in this truth, okay, or you say you're in this truth and you don't have it to where your foundations are sturdy, man, you're going to be dismayed within that time, because we're going to be dealing with the real. It ain't going to be now when you come out here to camp and, you know, you read your scriptures and you hold your signs, you have your hands in your pocket, you have a bit of a laugh and you go home. No, we're going to be dealing with the real, man. That's what's going to be the separating, one of the deciding factors of which I pray Yahweh Shema shall make it through that. That's going to be the defining factors between whether you have the faith or you don't have the faith. Whether you was acting or you was for real, man. Okay? Because you can act right now, but you can't deceive the Most High. You can't act your way to have faith. Okay? When we're dealing with the elements of the real, you ain't gonna be able to be acting that way. Because even the mighty men of Esau are gonna be dismayed. Imagine how Jake's gonna be within that day, man. That never held a gun within their entire life, and you got to where a bunch of troops are outside your door, okay, telling you to asking you whether you're gonna denounce the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. What you gonna do then, man? Okay. For a lot of them guys that are out there, I pray Yahweh Shem Yahshai ain't one of them. Okay, they gonna denounce the name of the Most High. They gonna take that chip, man. Okay, because they don't have the faith. Okay, they don't believe Yahweh Shem Yahshai is actually going to take them out of the situation that they're in right now. Okay, because they're just out here for games, man. All right. So let's get back onto the scriptures now. This is back within the book of Obadiah 1:9. It says, to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau shall be cut off by slaughter, by death. Okay. Right, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob shall cover thee. Okay, so you're talking about the scriptures like 2 Thessalonians 1:6, seeing it as a righteous thing, Yahweh Shem Yahshai, to recompense them that trouble you. Well, the violence that they had against the 12 tribes of Israel, that's gonna come up on their own head, man. Okay, they're gonna get judged for that. Okay, they're gonna get judgment for that. Okay, so it says, for the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Okay, let's jump into the book of Job, the 20th chapter, right quick, and deal with that, because this is a good precept to go hand in hand with the book of Job, the 20th chapter, and then at some point we'll go back onto Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, because I only read one verse of that, and you know all of these things are coming up as a result of that one verse I had read. Okay, so Job 20:3 it says, Job 20:4 it says, knowest thou this, not of old since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So the triumphing of the wicked was all about what? The violence that they had against their brother Jacob. Okay, the 12 tribes of Israel, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans. So they had rejoiced, okay, in taking us down, and they had made mirth okay, at the impoverishment that they have put us in. Okay, that's what they're rejoicing right now. That's why you have a thing called Edomite pride, okay, or Edomite supremacy. There's not white supremacy, it's Edomite supremacy. Okay? Because you got Jakes out there that look white. But they ain't in a position of supremacy. They can't walk around with that supremacy because that enmity between the Mosai between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent. So they can't roll like that. Okay? But you got a thing called Edomite supremacy, alright, which is the joy that they have in taking down the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay, remember, when you're dealing with the history and you're reading about King David ruling the Edomites and sending his #1 general out there and slaughtering all of them Edomites, man. We're talking about great events, man. Okay, that's what's known as was it genocide? Okay, King David committed an act of genocide, man. Okay, and it was a righteous act of genocide. Okay. And the same thing happened when King Saul was on the scene. He was commanded to do the same thing, but he kept a handful of those Edomites out there, and one had escaped. Was it Haman? Had escaped out there into Egypt, and later became was it Agag rather more, and then Haman came out of that. Okay, so Agag had escaped out there into Egypt, and then dwelt amongst the Egyptians and built himself up. And then out of him, you had the Haman come out. What did Haman want to do? He wanted to suicide. He wanted to get rid of these Israelites, man, because they remember their history. Okay, see, that's one thing Jake doesn't like to do. He doesn't like to get into the history. When you read the history as it pertains to these Edomites, man, okay, the judgment of the Mosai, the word that the Mosai had put out there is that these Edomites was going to be slaughtered, man. It was going to be removed, man. They're going to be destroyed, and it was instructed for us to do that in different times and events. The battle, it was the battle or the Valley of Salt or something like that, if I remember correctly. And then we won that battle, and we slaughtered all of those Edomites. They remember these things.